I'm Caitlyn Stroh, and this is Jason Butt. We are here. We just watched Georgia take a loss to Texas A&M. What do you think about it, Jason?
Very, very tough loss for Georgia to the Aggies today. You lose by 34. There's not a lot of good you can take from it. It's going to be one of those things where this Georgia team is just going to have to watch the film, regroup, put it behind them, and move on because nothing really went their way today. From pace of play, tempo on offense, to being able to stop the Aggies, whether it was in transition or perimeter defense today. Texas A&M came in the segment, just as Mark Fox said after the game, gave them an old-fashioned whipping, and that's pretty much the summary that we just saw.
Yeah, and I know for me, it's definitely, most people, it's more fun to watch whenever shots are being made and some offenses kind of kicking in there. Today, that just was not happening, was it?
No, Georgia's offense was very, very lackluster, which is surprising coming off of 3 consecutive games, a 2-1 stretch where shots were falling. Coming off against a Tennessee game where they hit over 60% of their shots from 3. Wrote about it this week, possibly jinxed them, I guess. I don't know if you believe in that sort of thing. But no, not really. but yeah, I mean, they've been lights out lately. Kenny Gaines and J.J. Frazier, and credit Texas A&M's defense today. They really locked them down, didn't let them get many open looks. That pressure from the start kind of set the tone, and Georgia was unable to recover. Something that Fox talked about after the game, that when the first bit of adversity hit, they weren't able to respond, and to him that was kind of what ended up playing out through the course of the game.
And you knew it was a bad game, but then whenever Fox came in and said that's the worst coach that worst team he's coached in a decade. That makes it really kind of put into perspective about how bad that was.
And yeah, I assume he meant going back to his days coaching at Nevada because he's been here since 2009.
And there's been some rough Georgia games.
There have been, and the crazy thing is that that's the worst loss under Fox, since 2009, since he took the program over. That includes a loss, a couple of years ago against Florida where they lost by 33. Games against Kentucky where they've been blown out. And here's a Texas A&M team that is really surging. They're playing some great basketball right now. At the same time, they're coming off of, I believe it's 3 consecutive games, close games, down to the wire, like 2 3-point kind of finishes. So you thought maybe Georgia was going to be able to hang with them the same way that some of these other conference teams have, unranked conference teams with that, Florida, Vanderbilt, and no, they lost by 34, just got run out of their own gym in front of one of the better crowds we've seen at Segment Coliseum this year, and so very disappointing loss for the Bulldogs. One that you wonder, is this one that you continue to maybe draw strength from, learn from all the mistakes, or do you just burn the tape and move on and forget about it as much as you can? I don't know which is the better path, honestly.
I'd probably burn the tape. But, you just wrote about the fact that they haven't had that signature win yet this season, and then they got this stretch coming up where they've got Arkansas, LSU, and Baylor all before the end of the month.
Yep.
So what do you think how that plays out for them?
And this game could have gone just so great for Georgia if they came out with a win. They could have gotten a win over a number 15 team in the country. It would have been great for the RPI, been great for the tournament resume. Now all of a sudden you have a 34-point loss instead, which, to be fair, the NCAA committee isn't necessarily going to look at margin of victory, but it's still a home loss. And like you said, after the Missouri game on Wednesday, Arkansas at home, LSU, then at Baylor, and then you got Kentucky coming up, on the road there too, the week after, and more, South Carolina's coming up, a game against Vanderbilt, that'll be a tough one. They're about to hit a stretch where they're going to be playing a lot of teams, a lot of conference teams that games could go either way. So this would have been a great chance. It's a huge opportunity missed because I don't think most people that follow Georgia basketball think that this team is as bad as what they put out today. But at the same time, you have to wonder how good can this team be because they haven't been able to put a great win against a top quality opponent. They have wins over Georgia Tech and a surging Clemson team right now, but over a top tier kind of opponent yet, and they got 6 losses. Let's face it, they got to start winning more games.
And they're not road warriors, so this would have been a really good time. They've got to win at home when they can, so that's going to be a big struggle.
Right, 0-3 on the road. The Missouri win, or the Missouri game coming up will be really important for them to win, just to get the feeling of what it's like to win on the road.
Yeah, you think that they'll be able to take that one?
you would think. I mean, they crushed Missouri at home, so I mean, and Missouri isn't a strong team compared to the rest of the SEC this year. Anything can happen. You can't overlook Missouri. Looking ahead to the stretch of games against maybe the upper portion of the class in the conference, and then of course Baylor. Can't overlook Missouri looking ahead, especially coming off this kind of loss.
Yeah, it's going to be see how they react to this. But all right, y'all. So Missouri's coming up on Tuesday. Wednesday. Schedule change for
7 p.m.
All right. So follow Jason on Twitter for any updates and information there, and go to macon.com for game news and photos. Thanks, y'all.